In this tutorial, we're going to build a website for a fictitious company called Banana Boat Capital, and we're going to start from zero, from scratch, from nothing. We're going to buy a domain name, buy a hosting account, and go through all the steps that you need to get this website online for either for yourself or for a client. And like I said, we're going to start from zero with no steps skipped. And you're probably wondering, who am I? Do I even know what I'm talking about? Why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Bjorn Alpass, and I founded and own and run WP Learning Lab, which teaches people WordPress through a bunch of different methods, through my YouTube channel, through my courses on my website, through our private Facebook group, through one-on-one coaching. Either way, I teach WordPress, but I think it's better that you hear from other people what it is that I do and if I do it well or not. So I'm just going to read through a bunch of comments that I've received on the YouTube channel just in the past few days. You can decide for yourself whether or not you want to carry on watching this video. 3 days ago, Donald said, "Bjorn, this is what I wanted to learn today. Thank you. This is just one more reason I am subscribed to you." Paul says, "Very helpful overview. Very well explained. Thank you." Mohammed says, "Thanks very much. I was confused and your video removed my confusion. God bless you." Punit says, "You've really good knowledge of WordPress. That's why I first searched your channel about all WordPress problems, and they really help." Jawad says, "Your work is always great. Thank you, sir." And that's just a handful of comments that I've received on my videos. If you want to see more, check out any video on my channel. You'll see more comments just like that. And I love for the next positive comment to be yours right down below this video. That would be awesome. Or if you have any questions, just leave them down below this video. I do my best to answer every single question that I receive. Now we're going to go over the 4-step plan to build this website. Then I'm going to show you a preview of what the finished website will look like. And then we'll get into building the actual website. So in our 4-step plan, the very first thing we have to do is buy a hosting account and a domain name. Without those, we cannot get a website online. It just doesn't work. We need to have those to have a website on the internet. And this is really the only thing you have to pay for in this tutorial. There's always stuff to pay for. You can always buy more things. But to get a website online, that's really the only thing you need. Domain name and a hosting account and watching this video. And there's a link in the description to the host that I use. They're called SiteGround. They're awesome, they're secure, they're fast. And through that link, you get a 60% discount. So make sure you go through there. It's also an affiliate link, which means when you buy through that link, I get a small commission. It does not make it more expensive for you, but it helps me to keep on creating awesome videos just like this one. Step 2, we install WordPress, and I show you step by step how to clean up all the demo content and get it ready for building a website. In step 3, we install the Astra theme and the Brizy page builder. And step 4, we use the Astra theme and the Brizy page builder to build out our awesome website. The Astra theme and the Brizy page builder, they both have paid options, but we're using the free versions in this tutorial because that's all we need. You can always upgrade to the paid ones later on down the road to get more features if you want to, but you don't have to. As I'm sure you can tell by now, this is the kind of video you want to bookmark and come back to. In the description down below, I have a complete table of contents to this video with links to specific sections that cover specific topics. And it's quite thorough. There's a lot of different parts to this video, and you can fast forward to any of them using that table of contents. And if at any point you feel I'm going too fast or too slow in this video, you can speed it up or slow it down using the YouTube speed settings. They're found on top of the video. When you hover over it, the play bar appears, and then the gear icon on the bottom right, if you click on there, you can change the speed of the video to make it faster or slower. And you can also rewind by clicking on the timeline, or just go through the table of contents down below to jump to different parts of the video. And now really quickly, who is this video for? If you find yourself on this list, this video is for you. This is for beginners who've never made a website. I cover everything step by step, so there's no questions left unanswered. If for some reason there is a question left unanswered, just leave it in the comments down below and I will answer it. This tutorial is for anyone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money building their website. All we're buying is the minimum, a domain name and a hosting account, because every website needs that. This video is also for anyone who wants to be more efficient and learn everything in one place. This video is a course all by itself. It's a long video and it covers everything. It's a full course on how to build a website. This tutorial is also for anyone who wants to make changes on their website without contacting a developer, which ends up costing more money. Now that that's all out of the way, let's take a look at a preview of what we're going to build. This is a quick preview of the website we're building. We're going to be creating what you see here. We created the navigation menu using the Astra theme, the free Astra theme. The content in the middle, the content of the actual pages, is created using the Brizy page builder, also the free version of that. Both of those have paid versions, but we use only the free versions in this tutorial. And this is the website we're going to build. This is the homepage, looking great, all this content. Awesome little footer at the bottom. If we go to the About page, same idea, same theme. We go through and tweak all these things. I don't tweak all the text on every page, as you can see here. We do the home page very, very thoroughly, and you learn how to use all the elements like editing the text, So I'm not going to show you how to edit every single piece of text in the site, because once you know how to do it, you know how to do it. But we are going to go through and look at all the unique things on every page and learn how to use those for your future projects. Have these nice counters right here, an accordion, awesome stuff, calls to action. There's global elements that we use that happen or that are applied throughout different pages. You edit them once and they're edited everywhere, which is fantastic. Brizy allows you to also have typography templates where you can apply similar styles of typography or the same styles to any different element you want. So you might have a heading typography. Then you tag every heading as a heading, and then anywhere throughout your site where that heading tag exists, if you make a change to it, it will change all the other headings with that same tag. You also make custom headings where you don't need to have everyone changed, but the point is having something like that that applies across the whole site makes your life a whole lot easier. Have a nice services page. And then we finish off with our nice little contact page, map in the background of the header, Brizy form builder, and it's a pretty awesome website. And not only do we go through all the pages and build them like this, when we're all done, we make sure they're mobile optimized. So if I shrink this page down to the breakpoint for tablet, which just means where we change to tablet, we see right here, we're now in tablet mode. Our menu has gone mobile. We click on here, the menu appears. Like, this is on a computer, so it's not exactly the same experience, but this is what the website would look like on a tablet, or at least the contact page. And then we shrink even further and we go to the mobile page, which would be this one. The contact form area goes from 2 columns to 1 column, and everything just adjusts to the proper size. And we do that for every single page. And there's a bunch of different situations that occur as we do that, and I'll show you how to address them and fix those situations if they occur in your project. And now we're going to get started building this out, and we're going to start at 0. We're going to start at not even having a domain name or a hosting account, which you need to put a website online and have it live and have people be able to go there. So let's get a domain name and hosting. If you're following along this video but you don't have a domain name or hosting account yet, just click the link in the description down below. It will take you to SiteGround, which is where I host all my websites, and it will take you to this page. Or if it doesn't take you to this page, just go to hosting and then go to WordPress hosting, and then you get to this page. And this is where you buy hosting, and you can buy domain names here as well. A domain name is your web address. For example, SiteGround.com is the domain name of this hosting company. So your website needs a domain name as well, otherwise people cannot find it on the internet. And hosting is where all the files are stored. So you have a domain name where people find your website, but then the content of your website is stored on a hosting account. And that's the service that SiteGround provides, and you can also buy domain names here. And there's another site you should check out if you're having trouble picking a domain name. It's called Domain Wheel. If you have an idea for a website, say it's about paper airplanes, you can type in paper airplanes and then search, and it gives you all kinds of ideas that are related to paper airplanes. So here we have cardpaperairplanes.org, paper jets, e-paper airplanes, card airplanes. You get the idea. You can also limit the search results, so you can have only .coms on here if you like. Click on search, only .coms appear. And you can try to find a domain name that suits your needs. Down below there's also a sounds like and a random suggestions area that'll help you get more ideas for domain names. And once you have a domain name, you can come back to SiteGround and you can choose a hosting plan. Now these hosting plans are almost always on sale for the first purchase. I'll tell you what that means in just a minute. But this one, for example, is $3.95 a month, regular, $12 a month. And if you just have one website you're just starting out, this is all you need. $3.99 a month is very reasonable, and SiteGround is a great host with awesome features. And 10,000 monthly visitors is a long ways to go. So when you're starting out, it's going to take you a long time to get there. And if you do end up outgrowing this plan, it's really easy to upgrade. It's one-click upgrade in your back end, in your SiteGround account. Super simple. So for today, we're going to get the startup plan. We're going to type in the domain name that you found earlier. Hopefully you found one. I'm just going to call mine, let's build a new website. I don't think this one's taken. I haven't double checked. But if you find a domain name on Domain Wheel up here, these are ones that have not been taken. So you can just copy and paste those right into here. Make sure you pick whether it's a .com or .net, .org or .directory, .estate or whatever it is. Make sure you pick that from this drop down here. And then it shows here domain registration is $16 per year. It's pretty average. Click on proceed. Now we come to this page, shows this domain name as available, so that's good. And now I'm just going to fill out this form with my email, my billing info, credit card number, and then we'll get into this after I fill out the form. So I'll be right back. I filled out the form above, including my billing info and address info. And now we pick our plan. We have startup, which we picked earlier. We can choose our data center if we want to. You should pick the one that's closest to you. I'm in Canada, so the USA data center is closest to me. If you live in a different part of the world, make sure you pick the one that's closest to you. That just makes it so that your website loads faster locally in your local area. And the period is how long you want to register for. And the trick here is this $3.95 a month is valid for your registration period. So if you order for 12 months, you get $3.95 a month for 12 months. After 12 months, it's $12. If you go for 36 months, you get the $3.95 for 3 years instead of 1 year. And after that, it's $11. So pick the one you want. Definitely don't pick 1 month because that's really expensive for 1 month. But if you're going to have a website long term, why not choose the longest term one and have the greatest discount for the hosting? It only makes sense. So now we have our hosting services picked out. Our domain registration here is $16. We can add in domain privacy. That means that your information will not be in what's called the Whois database. Any domain name that's purchased, whoever purchased it or the company that purchased it is visible through the Whois database. And if you buy this privacy protection, it's not visible. It'll look like SiteGround bought the domain and not you. So that is important if you want to have some more privacy. I usually don't check that. I also don't use the SG Site Scanner. It's helpful for detecting malware and things like that, but I use other tools for that, so I'm not going to choose that. But if you want to have the scanner to protect yourself from malware, feel free to add that in for $20 a year by checking this box. And now we have to confirm some things. The first one we have to confirm. The second one we don't have to. This is just special offers and emails they want to send you. You can say yes or no. It's up to you. Then we click on Pay Now. Now it's going to process, and we're going to receive some emails that are going to be very important. So we're going to log into my email account in just a minute to see those new emails from SiteGround. I believe there are 3 of them, and they're all quite important. I'll walk through each of them. So the account's been created. We can click on Proceed to Customer Area. And now I'm going to start a new website since that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to click on WordPress. I'm going to add my email address. I'm going to create a username. Let's say that. Here, so it's not long enough, so let's make it a little longer. Make my full name. The password, I'm going to use a password generator for that. And that one's only medium. Add an exclamation. There we go. Okay. Now we have a strong password. I recommend you have a strong username and a strong password just because that's good for your website security. Then I will click on Confirm. And here we can add domain privacy again if we want to for $12. SG Scanner again if we want to for $20. So if you didn't add them before, it's going to ask you again. You can choose those or not choose those. I'm going to not choose them. Click on Confirm. Going to check this box and then click on Complete Setup. Our hosting account is ready to use. So click on the big green button to proceed to the customer area. And now we have the home page. This is what you first see when you log into your SiteGround account. You can see your accounts under My Accounts. This is where we're going to see our domains. There's our new domain name right there. And believe it or not, WordPress is already installed. And this site is actually live. If we copy and paste this domain into a new tab, there's going to be something there. It does not look very nice right now because it's just a plain WordPress install. We're going to fix that in a few minutes. But we have a site live on the internet. Only took 10 minutes. So you can email your mom and let her know you've got a site online, which is awesome. And we're going to go to WP admin. So we have our website domain name followed by a / and then WP-admin. Hit enter, and it's going to take us to a login page. This is where we enter the username and password we created in the form just a minute ago. So my username was Bjorn Allpass. My password was this. Then I'm going to click on Login. Now we can go through the SiteGround setup wizard to create a WordPress site. We're not going to do that in this video. I'm going to click on Exit, and we're going to go into the dashboard for the WordPress site. Now we come to a custom dashboard. This looks a little bit different than most other WordPress dashboards you've probably seen in some tutorials. This is a SiteGround specific dashboard. You don't really use it for very much, so the way it's designed isn't really too important. Now we have to go back into a SiteGround area and take a look at those emails I told you about earlier. Here it says pending verification, and we do that through our email account. So I'm just going to log into my email. The verification email they sent us, we need to click on this link right here to verify our domain. So here we are, we're at the verification page. Just have to verify this information is correct, and we click on Verify Information. And yay, we're verified. Now if we come back here and refresh, this may take a minute to update, or a few minutes. It's not updated yet, but we are verified. So that's good. We can close this tab, and we can close this email because we've done that. This email is important information about your new hosting account. Login buttons, set up your website, complete your domain verification. We did that just now. This is information to read through if you want to read through it. It's not really that important. You bookmark the user area, remember your password, and that's really all there is to it. And this email is your sales receipt, has all the important info about your purchase, so keep that in a safe place. Now that we've gone through all the emails, we've verified our domain name and our information, we're now ready to build out that website that I showed you at the very beginning of this tutorial. The first thing I usually do is clean up some demo data that WordPress adds when you install WordPress. Quite often when you go to posts, you'll find a post here called Hello World, which you can just delete. You can hover over it and delete it. When you install WordPress the way we just did on SiteGround, that post is not added, so that's why it's not here. Under pages, there's often one called sample page and perhaps privacy policy. You can delete the sample page, but I recommend you do keep the privacy policy because that's important to have on a website. You just have to update the text in it. And under themes, we currently have the 2019 theme. That's installed on all WordPress sites that are installed in 2019. Every year they usually come out with a new one. I don't think they had one in 2018. They may not have one in 2020. It might just be 2019 for all next year as well, but you'll see. We'll add a new theme in a little bit. Under plugins, we have SG Optimizer and the WordPress Starter. This is what creates our fancy dashboard, the SiteGround dashboard. If we want to delete both of these, which we do in this case, I'm going to select both of them, go to bulk actions, go to deactivate, click apply, and then choose them all again, go to delete and apply. And that will now delete them. A plugin has to be deactivated before it can be deleted. And we're going to add some new plugins in just a bit. Under users, this is where you're going to find your user. This is the one that we created when we filled out that form on SiteGround. You can add new users by clicking add new, and you can customize your user by clicking on edit. Why you want to do this, for example, is up in the top right here, it says Howdy Bjorn Allpass, and that's my username. That's also the name that would be used in any content you create on the website. We can change that in here. We can also change the colors of our back end. We can choose any one of these, and we can change how the back end of our WordPress site looks. I'm going to stick with this one. So we have our username here, which cannot be changed. We can enter our first name and last name. And based on what you enter in those two fields, we can change our display name publicly as. We can just choose one of these. So I'm just going to choose my first name, and that changes it up here in the top right to just my first name. You can change your picture here. You can change your admin email address, make a new password. You can log out. And you can update profile by clicking on this button. The next thing I usually do is up on the top left, you see that my blog, that is a name that you've set, or that SiteGround in this case has set for the website. You can change it by going to settings and then general. You can type in the name of the website right here. Now that we're getting into kind of the meat and the potatoes of the tutorial, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. And you notice the domain name has changed. That's because I can't possibly create a new hosting account with a brand new domain name for every single video. So the setup is the exact same on this website that we just covered. It's just a different domain name, that's all. So this demo tutorial, we're going to build a website for a fictitious company called Banana Boat Capital. So I'm going to change my site title to Banana Boat Capital. And the tagline will be, "We help you with all your investment needs." Pretty good tagline for investing firm. Other settings in the general settings that you want to make sure you're aware of is the membership option. If this is checked, anybody can register for your site. There will be a link on the login form that says register. So anybody can register. If you don't want random people or spam bots to register for your site, make sure this is unchecked. If this box is checked, the user role the person who registers will get, or the bot who registers will get, is defined by this drop down here. This should never be administrator or anything above subscriber, really, because the subscriber has the least amount of privileges in the WordPress site. All they can really do is update their profile that we saw earlier. An administrator can do anything on your site, and you definitely don't want random bots and random people registering for your site and being an administrator or editor or author or contributor, because even contributors and authors, they can do things like create new posts and edit certain things on your site. You don't want that. So just keep it at subscriber, keep this unchecked. Further down, you can change the language of your site. This affects the back end of the website, not the front end. Keep that in mind. The front end has to be translated manually. The back end, you just pick a different language, and that'll be all the text in the back end that you see here in the back end of WordPress will be changed to the language. For the time zone, I'm going to choose based on my city because I can never remember the UTC code. So I'm going to find my city in this list. It's right here. It's not my city, but Vancouver is in my time zone. My city is too small to be on here. So Vancouver is my time zone. My date format, this will be published on blog posts in most themes. And I like this format, July 27th, 2019. Looks very nice. You can also choose a different format if you prefer. You can also pick your own custom format. If you're wondering what these letters mean, these are PHP variables that tell the website to output the date in a certain format. You don't have to worry about this. Just choose one of the predefined ones. I'm going to use this one. Same thing for the time format. Pick one of the predefined ones. You can make a custom one. You just have to Google PHP date time variables, and you get a whole list of different ways to present date and time. I'm just going to choose a predefined one. I'm going to choose Monday as the day that my week starts on, and then click on Save Changes. And now we have things set up enough that we can start building out our website. The first thing we want to do is install the page builder we're going to use. In this case, we're going to use Brizy. You can get it for free using the link in the description down below, or head to my website /resources, wplearnlab.com/resources, also linked to in the description down below. Click on Brizy Page Builder, takes us to this page. Click on Download. Here you choose how you plan to use it, either building the sites for clients or for myself. You can choose either one. It's just for more information for the Brizy creators. I'm going to say for clients, I'm going to use an email address that's not in their system yet because I've downloaded this before. My other email addresses is this one here. Click on subscribe and download. Your subscription has been successful, and now I'll get an email with a download link. If you don't want to waste time getting that email, there's a link right down here. Click on that. Now it's downloading for us automatically in the bottom left corner. Now we can head back into the website, go to plugins and add new, go to upload plugin, click on choose file. This is the one we just downloaded right here. Click on open, click on install now, click on activate plugin, and then we have Brizy installed. There is a pro option, you don't have to do that, but you have that option available to you. We'll touch on that throughout this tutorial where you can add more widgets and things to make your website even cooler. But the free version of Brizy allows you to do amazing things with your site and gives us access to a whole bunch of templates that will speed up our site development by a large amount. Next, we're going to add a theme. We're going to add the Astra theme. Let's go to themes, click on add new, and same thing, we're going to upload a theme, but first let's download it. Back at our resources page on the website, we have the Astra theme right here. Click on that. There's also a link in the description down below to take you to the Astra website. Then we click on download, scroll down, click on download free Astra theme right here. Enter your name and email. Let's enter the same email address I did just a moment ago. Subscribe and download. Now the Astra theme has downloaded to our hard drive. Same idea, choose file, choose Astra, click on open, click on install now, click on activate, and now we have the Astra theme activated. We can delete the 2019 theme. We don't need extra themes on our site that don't need to be there. So let's delete the 2019. We can always download it again in the future if you want to, but we really don't need it. Now we also want to take notice of this notification up here that Astra added. This is where we can get our site templates set up really quickly. I'm going to click on Get Started to install a starter site plugin that's developed by the Astra creators as well. We're going to choose our page builder. In the case of this video, we're using Brizy, so I'm going to choose that, click on Next, and now we'll be presented with large amounts of templates. Some of them labeled as agency, others labeled as probably pro, because there's different account levels for Astra. If you click on just the free ones, it'll show you all the templates that we can download and import into our site right now and be up and running really quickly. So this is a website for a finance firm or an investing firm. So I want to choose an appropriate template that looks clean, pro, and I like this one here. If we click on it, it shows us a preview. Here's our preview on the right. Something you always want to have at your firm is millennials on their phones as the header image. So we definitely want to switch out the header image if we use this template because that does not scream customer service to me. Anyway, it's a great looking template. It comes with multiple pages. Basically, it's the whole site. We just have to go in and customize what we need customized. So I like it. I like it. I'm going to click on Import Site. And now it's going to go through and import site. Before I did that, actually, I should say all these are checked right here. Install required plugins, install or import customizer settings, import content, import widgets. So all these things are set up for you. Keep those all checked. If you already have a site on your site or pages on your site that you imported previously, you can check on delete previously imported site if you want to, and that will overwrite your previous site. These are things you only want to do in a brand new website. You don't want to delete existing stuff that you already have in place by accident. So make sure you know what you're doing when you check this delete previously imported site option. Now it's imported. Let's click on view site. It's going to close the other tabs that we have here. And here's our site. We can customize everything with Brizy, which we're going to do. All the content in the middle is Brizy. The footer, this large footer area, and the header with the navigation at the very top, those are created by the Astra theme. So we're going to use the customizer to edit those. We're going to edit all the content with Brizy. So we have a home page, an about page. Looks nice and clean, professional. Services page, same kind of idea. And we're going to go through and customize all of this, all of these pages, and make an awesome looking website within the next couple hours, maybe even within just the next hour. So the first thing we want to do is go to the customizer, customize our header and our footer, because those are going to exist on every page of the website. We want to make sure that those match our brand. So let's head into the website, click on the X to close that preview. To get to the customizer, go to Appearance and then Customize. Close this tab as well. And from here, we can start customizing our navigation and our footer. We're going to keep the menu system at the top pretty much the same. We're going to have our logo here. We're going to replace this logo with ours. This is going to be our menu because these are the pages we have, and we have a request quote button. I'll show you how to edit and manage these things as well, but it's going to be pretty much like this. I'm going to click on the pencil beside the logo first, then click on Change Logo to pick a new logo. I'm going to upload a file. This is my fictitious logo right here, I believe. Yeah, this one right here. So open that. Then click on Select, skip cropping. Let's click on this option here to remove logo for Retina devices. Now we have our Banana Boat logo right here. The Retina device option is a higher resolution logo, so it's the exact same logo, just larger and clearer at a larger scale. So it doesn't have to be scaled up for Retina devices, which makes them fuzzy. And then you have nice looking logos on all kinds of different devices. I'm going to turn that off for now. I'm going to change the logo width by dragging this to be smaller. We don't need it to be quite so large. We can also choose to have a different logo for mobile devices. We'll get to that in a minute when we're doing editing for our mobile options for the menu system, but this gives you the option to add a smaller logo because there's a much smaller screen size on mobile devices. So that's a great option to have. We're not going to display the site title. We're not going to display our tagline, and we're going to add a site icon by clicking on the site icon button. And this icon will replace this little planet up here. We see SiteGround has their own custom one, and we will have our own custom one as well. Click on Upload Files again, select a file, and this is the one I want, Banana Boat icon. Click on Open, click on Select. These icons are usually 512 by 512 pixels square, and those are shrunk right down to be that big right there. So now we have a site icon in place, we have our logo in place. Let's work on our menu. Click on the pencil, takes us to the menu area. You can also get to these places through the main navigation on the left here. So under Layout, we go to Header, Site Identity takes us to the logo options, and Primary Header takes us to the menu options. And I go through all the options available in the free version of Astra and the paid version of Astra in a couple other videos. I've linked to them in the description down below, so make sure you check those out if you want lots of details about the Astra theme. In this video, we're just going to do what's required to get our site up and running. So the first option we see at the top is changing the layout. We can have it laid out as it is now. The box denotes the logo area, the line is the menu. If you click on this one, it'll put the logo on the top, menu, and the button at the bottom. And this will reverse sides if you click on that one. I like it how it is on the left. I like to have my last menu item as a button. There's a lot of other options. Again, this is in the other Astra video, not in this one. We're going to keep it as a button. We're going to keep it as request a quote, but you can change the text right here. Maybe add an exclamation mark to make that more exciting. This hashtag will be replaced by an actual link to the page where quotes can be requested. The theme button. This is the style of the button. I'm going to click on Customize Button Style. That takes us to the theme button area. And I'm going to change it to be orange because the main color of our site, The main color in our logo, in fact, is orange, and I want to have this orange, this F2A100 throughout the site. So I'm going to change the button to that color. So now the background color is that orange, but if we hover over it, it goes to black. Even though it shows white here, it just means there's no color selected. If it was white selected, it would go to white. But we're going to add our orange again, and I'm just going to choose a lighter version of the orange. It's going to eyeball it, so it's very subtle when you hover. You know you're hovering. It's not in your face, nice and subtle. I'm going to change the padding. The padding is the space around the words that makes the button larger. So we have 30 pixels on the left and 30 pixels on the right. And the 7 here is the padding on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to reduce this 7 down to, let's try 5, and this 30 down to 20. Makes the button a little more palatable. At least I think it does. You can keep it bigger if you want to. Let's go back, and back in that buttons area, you find under buttons in the main menu layout, or you just click on the button customization options link to get to that spot as well. Let's click back into the pencil for the menu. And now we can add a header border bottom size if we want to. This just adds a line across the bottom. It's a nice touch, nice visual separation if you want that. I don't want that. I'm going to take that out. The header width is the width of the content, or it can be full width. So you can choose which one you want. As I make this change, nothing much happened because our content turns out is full width. So no change there when we change that. You will notice a change depending on how you set your content width. And here we have some submenu options. Those are not relevant in this case because we don't have a submenu. A submenu is when you hover over something and then a menu drops down. That is a submenu, but we don't have one in this case. That's not important. And now for all intents and purposes, our header is complete. We do have to make a small adjustment called a transparent header later on. Don't have to do it, but we want to do it. I can't do it now because what it does is it removes the white background from the header and makes it transparent. If we do that now, you can't see a difference because the image at the top is all white, so there's no change. So we're going to add a different image for the header area in a little bit, and then we'll come back in here and do that transparent header change. Next, we're going to work on mobile, the mobile options for this menu system. But before we start that, I'm going to click on Publish. It is super important to publish your work as often as you can, as often as you remember, because anything you don't publish or don't update or don't save is work you have to do again later. And redoing work you've already done is time not well spent. And in fact, I just noticed that our link up here is still blue. I like to change that to be orange, which is our site color, our brand color. And when you hover, you have blue. I like to change that to be orange as well. To do that, let's back out of here and let's go to Colors and Background and go to Base Colors. And under Theme Color, I'm going to choose my orange color because that's my main theme color for the business. That doesn't affect that link, but it affects other areas. And our link color, we're going to change that to be orange. Now we have orange for our links, and when you hover, we have this nice orange color. Our text in the quote went to black for the main color, so we're going to change that by going to, not by doing that, by going to Buttons, Theme Button, and then we make sure that the button text color is white and the hover color is white. And now we're all gravy again. Let's publish again because I remember to right then. It's important. And let's start working on the mobile options for this menu. Click on the pencil for the menu, scroll down, go back to the mobile options area. And what you'll notice throughout the customizer is at the very bottom, you have 3 buttons. This one means desktop. This one means tablet. This one means mobile phone. And if you click on one of those, it changes the view of the preview to approximate a tablet and mobile phone and a desktop. If you click on tablet, it changes the viewport to be tablet sized. And we see how the website would potentially look on most tablet devices. And we have our logo up here, our menu over here. This is called a hamburger icon. We click on that, our menu pops down. It's pretty awesome. We have our headline that's low enough right now. That's good enough. Mobile phone, we have a logo that's way too large. We have to fix that. A menu that works just like it does on tablet. It looks really nice. So if I go back to tablet, let's say you don't want to have a hamburger menu for tablet. What you do is you change the breakpoint. So let's bring that down to, I'm guessing here, less than that. there we go, 500-ish, even, nope, not 750, 660 works. But you bring the breakpoint down to a point where the mobile menu is not turned on for tablets. But if we click on phones, it should still be turned on. And there's our mobile. If we can go down even farther, let's go down to 140. We have our menu showing up for mobile phones as well. And that's not quite the look we want. But maybe your menu is different. Maybe your menu works just perfectly with that. You don't want to have a hamburger menu. And that's how we can change where the hamburger menu or the regular menu appears. And that's based on the width of the screen. So this 990 means if they visit your site with a screen that is less than 990 pixels wide, they will see the hamburger menu. If it's larger, they will see the main menu, the regular menu we see on desktop. So choose these breakpoints as you like them. I'm going to undo this. So it's just blank, which means it will detect if it's a mobile device, and then we'll show the hamburger menu. It's not based on breakpoint. It's based on user agents that the mobile devices display to your site when they visit. I'm going to keep our drop-down target as an icon. The toggle button style currently is filled. We can change it to outline to have more minimal. And even more minimal is the minimal option, just the simple hamburger. Pick the one that fits into your brand. I like this one so people can see it. They know what's going on there. The toggle button color changes the color of the button. The border radius changes the border radius. You can have it be a circle if you want. Guess it's not a circle. It's still not a circle. Kind of an oval-ish if you want. You can have it be square. I'm going to change mine so there's slight rounding on the corners. Let's say 5 pixels in each corner. I like how that looks. Menu label for small devices. You add a label here. Let's call this my label. And it adds the label right in here. Not usually used. It's not common to have that. But depending on your target audience, they may not know what this is. Maybe you want to call this main menu, which describes what this button does, or what will be displayed if someone touches on this button on mobile. Maybe your target audience would benefit from that. I'm going to delete that from mine. And the last item on mobile menu, which currently is request a quote, can be other things. If we go to the very top, we can have the last item in menu be a button, be a search, be text or HTML, or be a widget. Some of these options may not make sense on mobile. The first two make, or the first three make sense, none, search, and button. But depending on what your text is and what your widget is, it may not work on mobile screens. So you have the option of checking this box, and it removes the last option, which is that option you chose at the top. Let's uncheck that. We can also have the last item be outside the menu. So if you still want to keep it, but it doesn't make sense in the menu, you can move it to the outside of the menu by ticking this option right here. It does move it to the left of the menu because the menu is set to be on the right. So keep that in mind. We also have the ability to change our mobile alignment. We have two options. The first one we see with the two lines horizontally aligned is one we see right now on our screen. If we choose the stacked option, we have our logo above the menu. Both look great. Really depends on what your needs are for mobile. If we head over to mobile phone, let's shrink the logo size on mobile phones. If we go to the top, let's push the button for the mobile editor for the logo, or the editor for the logo, not the mobile editor. We see our logo width option here and a little mobile phone. Now we know that anything we change here is applied only to mobile. So let's just shrink this down to be about that big. If we click on this option, it gives us desktop, click on it again, tablet. So we can change our tablet size independently as well for the logo. Just gonna undo this. It was fine how it was. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then on mobile phones, we have it down to 90 because that makes sense for the size of the mobile phones, for the needs of the mobile phones. So let's go back to our primary header. And those are actually our last options. I'm happy with how our menus work on mobile, on cell phones, I should say, on tablets, and on desktops. So the header is complete. Now we're going to work on the footer. Scroll down to the very bottom. The footer is this area right here. We're going to customize it so it fits our brand, just like we customized the header. To start with, let's replace the space logo with our own logo. By clicking on this little pencil here, it'll bring up the image area for the footer widget. And here we can just replace the image by clicking on Replace Image, choose our logo, click on Add to Widget, and boom, our logo is in there. Pretty simple. What this does not allow you to do out of the box is have a slider to adjust the size of it. So if you want to adjust the size of this logo, it's better to create a logo that is the correct size for what you want in that position. Next, we want to change the text. We can click on the pencil here, or we can just click on text right here, just a widget area. And we're just going to paste in a simple piece of text that says, Banana Boat Capital is here to help you with all your investment needs. Boom, done. This is just a really quick description of the company. This might be something that you want to have on your website. It's quite common to have that there. And the social widgets down here, we can edit by clicking on Astra Social Profiles, or click on this pencil. It'll open this widget right here. And preset in this starter site, we have Facebook, Twitter, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn. Each of these, when you click into them, you can edit the title of them. You can edit the link. This should be the link to your social profile. You can choose same page as a target or a new page, which means it'll open either in a new tab, which is new page, or it'll stay on this page and leave your site to go to the social network. You can have no follow enabled or disabled, which is an SEO term. Enabled is usually the best default for that, so to keep it on that. And you can choose an icon. Most of the social networks have a couple of them. For example, Facebook has 1, 2, 3, and Messenger. And let's see what else. Twitter has 2. Instagram has just 1. And Google Plus is now defunct. It's not really used by the general public anymore. So we're going to replace Google with YouTube. Let's go to choose icon. There must be a YouTube icon in here, and there is. Let's choose it right there. And you notice when I clicked on that, nothing happened. There was no change made. Double click, nothing happened. Unlike with the logo and this text right here, in this widget, we have to click on Apply at the very bottom. We click on that. Now we have our YouTube logo in place. And we can define a bunch of other stuff as well. Just point and click. Alignment, we can have them inline or stacked, which means vertical. Click on Apply, see how that looks. I like them inline in this case. The icon style, we can have a circle, simple, which is just the icon, circle, which you see here, square, same thing you see here, only a square. Outline is just a circular border, the circle outline, and the square border is just a square outline. Let's just choose square outline, see how that one looks. And we see it's just outlined as a square. I prefer circle. I'm going to keep it as circle. We can choose the official colors for these networks. Click on Apply. And I'll just pick the official colors for those. For some themes, that works great. Or for some website styles, that looks great. I'm going to keep mine on custom, and I'm going to make my social network colors on this site the orange that we've been using everywhere. Click on Change Background Color, or click on Background Color, select Color. Paste in the orange. For the hover, we'll do the same thing we did earlier. Paste in our orange color and make it a little bit lighter. Notice there's a little bar over here. It should be on the right-hand side, but I'm zoomed in really far to make this video. If I zoom out, I bet it's going to go back normal. There we go. It's back to normal. Just because I'm zoomed in for this video. And I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. And that should do. And the icon size is just fine how it is. Let's click on Apply, see how that looks. We hover over these to get a little bit lighter. And that's exactly what I want. We also have the option of displaying the title of the social network by clicking on this box right here. Click on that, click on Apply, and now we have the icon and the title. This looks better in stacked view. So if you want to display them like this, I would stack them. And also you notice they're all lowercase. You can change how they look by changing the words in here. This is where it pulls the title from. So let's capitalize Facebook, make them stacked, click on Apply. Now we see Facebook is capitalized, and it looks much better when it's vertical with the names in place. I'm going to remove the social network names, click on Apply, and inline, click on Apply. Boom, this section on the left is done. Click on Publish to save our work. Now the rest of the site, or the rest of the links over here, I'm going to keep them pretty much as is because I want to have our important links, which is all the pages on our site. Useful links is something a lot of websites have. There's another link list in there. And getting in touch is also pretty regular information you see in a footer. So if you want to edit the text of important links, just click on the pencil. All these areas, just click on the pencil. It opens up a widget area, and you can just change the title right here. This is the Astra Icons List widget, which lists these links. You can change those right here and change all kinds of stuff regarding those in this area. And again, there's a separate video I've linked to down below that takes you through the Astra theme, the free and the pro. We're using just the free one in this video, but you can learn all about it in those other videos. The useful links is the same idea. You can add them the exact same way, get in touch as well. Although this widget area is a little bit different because we have an address and various things, phone numbers, email address, but it's still an Astra List Icons. And you can change the icon on each one. So you notice the icons for these ones, just this arrow. And the icons over here are a map, pin, an envelope, a phone, and a mobile phone. And you can choose the icons inside any of these by clicking choose icon, just like we did the social networks. And you can pick a different icon if you want to. I'm just going to keep mine as is. Make sure you click apply at the bottom. Well, this one looks like it autosaves. Let's just try that. Make sure we can find this icon that we have here. There it is. Let's change it to this one. And there must be an apply. Well, there is an apply. Sorry, my microphone is right in the way, so I didn't see the apply, but there we go. Now we have the new icon in place. Now at any time if you want to add more widgets or delete the ones that are on there, you can just go to the very bottom of any widget and click on remove to delete it. You can add more widgets by clicking on add a widget. We have this area that pops out and you can add all these widgets to your footer areas. In the Astra theme there are 4 columns that you can see right here. Each one can have any assortment of widgets that you choose from here. And there's also lots of plugins that add more widgets to your site. So literally what you can do in your footer is unlimited. But usually for most websites, this is fairly common. Something you might see in a website in addition to this is some kind of simple opt-in form, or maybe even a map. Instead of having an address, it'd be a little Google map. You can do all that with widgets. But for the purposes of this site, this footer area is complete. But we still have to do the copyright at the bottom. Click on the pencil, and we can change the copyright text. You can see this is all dynamically pulled in with shortcodes. The current year shortcodes just displays the current year, so you don't have to update this every year. The site title pulls in the site title that we entered earlier in the general settings, which is Banana Boat Capital. And then powered by Banana Boat Capital, which I'm going to delete that second part. And now we have just copyright 2019, Banana Boat Capital. We can choose this to be text, widget, or a footer menu. Widget, again, is a widget area just like we saw before. We can add widgets right in there. I'm going to keep it as text. We can change the alignment. We can left align it. We can stack it if there's multiple things. We can also just have it not be there. I'm going to left align mine. I'm going to center mine the way it was originally. And, oh, it's not there. But if you scroll down, there it is. So when you make it go away, it shifts your monitor up, shifts your screen up. You have to scroll down to find it if you put it back. So let's see how this footer looks in the mobile settings. Let's click on the tablet. And let's scroll down. And we see our footer looks okay. I mean, it's fine, I suppose. There isn't too much we can do to customize this footer because these are widget areas. So it's hard to define them for different devices. Click on the cell phone, kind of the same thing. You can play around with this and customize it more using custom CSS, but I think it looks good enough. And something I should have mentioned a lot earlier, these pencils inside the blue circles are not there on the live site. They're only here in the customizer. So let's go back to desktop. Let's publish our work. Make sure it's saved. Let's exit the customizer. I think we're ready to get started on an actual page on the site. But first, let's visit the site. See how it looks. We have our nice header up here, Banana Boat. Let's go down to the bottom. We have a nice footer in place. And now we're going to go ahead and customize the homepage area, starting with this header area. We're going to use Brizy to do that. We can click right on here, Edit with Brizy. And it takes us into the backend editor. And now it's all point and click. Super simple. You're going to love how easy Brizy is to work with. The first thing we'll do is replace the image because this does not say professionalism, to me anyway. A millennial on his phone. That's not super pro, I wouldn't think. So inside of Brizy, as opposed to other page editors you may have seen, or maybe you haven't seen any page editors yet, all the options for Brizy are in line, meaning they're right here. When you hover over anything, you click on it, and the options appear. You can work with them right there. And depending on what type of element you click on, the options are different. So this text, we have text options. This button here, we have button-specific options. These scales right here, with those, we can work on the entire section, which is this header section that's outlined in blue. We see a little plus icon at the bottom and a blue border. Everything above that and up to the menu, up to this, hang on, here, this blue shaded area to the top of that, that is our row that contains all of our content in the header. And we can adjust the settings for that row using these scales that we clicked on here. There's a whole lot of options. I'm not going to go through each option right now, but as we customize this website, we will see most of the options Brizy has. And this is the free version of Brizy. There is a pro version as well, but the free version combined with the free version of Astra do some powerful things. So I'm going to click on background, and here's our background image right here. I'm going to click on the X. I'm going to upload a new image. Let's go to upload files. Let's go to select files. I'm going to choose this image of our founder. I don't know her name, so don't ask me what our founder's name is, but this is her right here. Click on select, and there she is, looking very professional. You might be wondering, what's this blue dot right here? Well, with this blue dot, we can click and hold and drag and move it around, and it moves the center point of the image. So the way it was when I first uploaded, the top of her head is cut off a little bit. I want to have her completely in the frame. So I'm going to move this up until she's completely in the frame. I'm going to move it to the right because I want her farther to the left. Image isn't wide enough. The image has to be certain dimensions. It has to be bigger than the available space on the screen to be able to move this around. It's taller than the row, so we can move it up and down. But it's not wider, so we can't move it left and right. So this is good enough right here. We can also add background videos if you want. Click on the video icon. Use a YouTube or Vimeo URL. We can add that video. We can also have maps in the background. Defaults to Wall Street. But look how cool that big map is in the background. Looks pretty awesome. All right, back to our home page here. This background image looks pretty good, but now the text is over top of the background image. Doesn't look so good. So let's click on the text. Let's choose a different alignment. Let's choose right align. Let's do the same for the headline. And that didn't work out quite like expected, which means there's something in this area over here that's stopping it from lining all the way to the right-hand side. We're gonna have to find out what that is. So we have it set to align to the right, which is great. If we click on this gear icon, we see there's a gap above and below, doesn't matter. Under more settings, we have padding and margin, and we have a 50% padding on the right-hand side, and that's what's causing the problem. So let's reduce this down to 0. And now we're all the way to the right. Just how we want it, right there. This one align to the right as well, and this button align to the right. Okay, this text, I want to make it white. Let's move this circle to white. You might be thinking, well, you can move it to white over here. This is actually transparency. So if I scale this down, it disappears. You don't want that. So move it up to the white. And this one I'm going to make white as well. This top one looks pretty good as black. And this button, I want to make this button our usual orange. Let's click on the colors. This dot means this is the color of the button when it's not hovered on. This is the hover option. So I'm going to add our short code for our orange and then move the transparency up. And for the hover, I'm going to add orange again and just make it a little lighter orange. When we hover over it, we can see there's a bunch of changes happening. The color's going brighter, but the border's going crazy. The text color is changing. We can change those things in these tabs. So for the text, we can change the color of the text. I'm going to change it to white because that's what it is for all the other buttons. For hovering on the text, you got to be careful. If you saw what just happened, I'm on text right now. If I click on hover, it takes me back to BG hover. So we don't want to have that happen. Now that we're on hover selected, if we click on text, it has hover selected. So you got to be mindful of where this tab is switching to when you click on this button. So it'll switch back and forth. So border, we don't want to have a border. So we're going to turn the border off. Let's go to button right here. Border is at 2 pixels. We want to have it at 0. No border. Reset our button color. So let's quickly add our button color back in. There we go. And when we hover, we have the situation we want where the button gets a little bit lighter and everything looks good. Another feature is adding a shadow. You can easily add a shadow behind the button. So we clicked on the solid state, go to shadow again, and if we make this, let's make this 5, 5, 5, 5, we can see the shadow behind the button. You can also have the shadow change as you hover if you want to. Let's go to shadow, let's make this 3, 3, 3, 3. Now when we hover, we see the shadow changing, which is kind of cool. Cool effect. I'm going to keep mine at 0. Bit of a digression there, showing you about the shadows. Those are the kind of effects that are cool to use, but you don't want to use them too often. If you click on this little finger icon, we saw it a moment ago with our borders, but we can also change various things about the button here. So we can change the size, we can change the size, we can change the fill, we can change the corners. Instead of rounded, we can have square corners. We can add an icon if we want. All just point and click, super simple. But we're going to keep those as they are because I'm happy with this button. It's a great looking button. Let's change this text really quick. Let's make this one, investing is not complicated. Let us help you invest. Get your free personalized investing plan, click below. So now we have our nice little headline, call to action, click on the button. That'll send them to a page where they do things that we want them to. And now our header is more or less done. Something I want to show you about this header region. As we hover over it, we see this 250 pixels and it's shaded in blue, and we have this double arrowed vertical arrow. If we click and drag, we can reduce the amount of space above. Let's put that back to 250. And at the bottom, we have the same thing. So that's how you can easily adjust spacing if you're wondering how we got this big gap. Another thing you can do, instead of moving it back, say we don't like the 74, want to move it back to 250, just click on Command Z or Control Z, or click on this button down here. That's the undo button. We also have a redo button, so you can easily undo and redo things you've done on the site. Let's click on Update in the bottom right to save our work, make sure our work is saved. And now that we have a header up here that is not completely white, we can go ahead and activate the transparency option for the header that I told you a little while ago. So let's go back into the customizer, Appearance, and then Customize. Let's go to Header. Let's choose Transparent Header. Let's enable it, and we'll see the change right up here. We saw a white bar behind the menu. That white bar is gone when we have a transparent header. There we go. I think it looks very nice. We have some options on where to turn this on, where to turn this off. Not going to go through all these in this video because we have the other video that does that. Let's click on Publish, make sure our changes are saved, exit out of here again, come back out here, make sure this one is saved, then click on Refresh, so we have those changes applied inside the Brizy editor. Now we have a transparent header at the top, and everything's looking pretty good. I want to test for mobile as well, but usually what I do is I create the entire page first and then test for mobile at the end, because usually there aren't too many changes. Page builders have really done a great job in translating what you put on the page on desktop versions when you're building into mobile versions, so there isn't too many changes you have to do. So I can do them all once the page is done. That said, if you want to get a bit of a head start, you see this little desktop icon here. Click on that and we can change desktop to tablet to mobile. And now that the header is done, something very important that Brizy does that no other page builders do, well, a couple do, but none of the mainstream ones, is you can set typography settings for the entire site in one spot. Click on this little paintbrush here, and we have our styling tab. That's what this paintbrush is. And right now we have Brizy default selected, and we can create any number of new styles inside of Brizy, and we can set all the paragraph, all the headings, all the everything styles right in here. Let's click on paragraph. On desktop, this is what's applied. This font type, this size, weight of normal, line height of 1.7, letter spacing of 0. On tablet, goes down to 15 and 1.6, and on mobile phones, stays in the same as tablet. And you can adjust these however you want. Let's make mobile phones 14 and 1.5. And now we have them all different. And now wherever we apply a paragraph tag, that style will be applied. Paragraph tags are applied right here. If we click on any element that is text, click on the text button, we can choose paragraph. So if I wanted this one to be a paragraph, let's click on the T. This is a heading 2 right now. Let's make it a paragraph. Boom, it's styled the exact same way as the other one. Let's put it back to heading 2. Back to how it was. Now this isn't revolutionary. This has been happening for ages using CSS. But this is now point and click easy inside a page builder, and it's global. So we can change these styles on this page, but those changes will be applied to every page that has this paragraph tag on it. And that's amazing for page builders. It's a huge, huge time saver. Page builders have this option now where you can copy styles. So if I right click on this, we can paste styles, meaning we can paste designs we've applied to elements. And that's how page builders like Div and Elementor work. You have to customize an element, you customize all the text, then you copy the style, then you paste it elsewhere. That's a time saver for sure. But this method that Brizy has is even better because it applies globally, instantly, super simply. And you can add as many new types of styles as you want. For example, let's add a new one right now. Let's click on Add New at the bottom. And we have a new style right here. Let's click on it. Let's give it a name of paragraph 2. Just a different paragraph style. Let's give it a different font. This crazy one so we can tell the difference. Let's keep all the sizes the same. Now we have a new option inside of our styles. It's called paragraph 2. We click on any text element. It appears instantly. Click on the typography, go down to the very bottom, paragraph 2, apply it. Boom, we've got the crazy font in there. Or whatever settings you choose for paragraph 2. Let's go back to paragraph 1, and now we can go ahead and customize our site and apply the appropriate tags to the appropriate areas so that when we make changes to our text colors, font sizes, font line heights, and things like that, it's applied globally. One last important thing, under typography, you can choose custom, which means that the stuff you choose right now in this menu is only applied to this one element. You can copy and paste the styles to different elements if you want to, but it's not part of that list of styles that we worked on just a moment ago. Put that back to paragraph. Now we can start customizing the next section of the site, which is how can we help you? This is going to be a list of our services. I really like how this is laid out, so I'm not going to make any major changes. We're just going to update the text. We're going to update the colors to our orange instead of this blue, and we're going to add a button underneath each item where people can click to learn more and then hopefully become part of our business or sign up, whatever the term may be. I have a little app called Keyboard Maestro that I use a lot, and it allows me to copy more than one thing or have a clipboard with more than one thing on it. And so all these items that we're going to update I already have in my clipboard, and I can just quickly copy and paste so you don't have to sit through me typing all this stuff out, which is like watching teeth being pulled or watching grass grow or paint dry or take your pick. So I'm just going to fast forward as I paste in all this information. There we go, all of our content is in. This is just made up stuff. This isn't real services or anything. It's just because it's a made up company, so I just made all this stuff up. But what's really handy is having that multi-item clipboard where I can just paste in all this information. So let's get our yellow color. Let's click on this button. Let's copy it from here. And let's apply it to all of these icons. And all these icons, as you can see, have a hover effect as well. So you can easily change it on hover, which it does right now when they hover on here. And I don't mind that going orange to blue. It migrates through a green. It's a nice effect. I'll keep that. I'm just going to update all the main non-hover colors to orange. And just our divider up here as well. And now I'm going to add some more space between these by increasing the width of this divider, or the height of it, not the width, sorry. I'm going to add a button. Click on the plus icon. We have all these elements to work with. This is again the free version of Brizy. All of these are included in the free version. Let's just add a button. And I don't want to spend too much time customizing it, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy that button, right click on this one, and click on Paste Styles. Now we have our button styled just like this one, super quickly. I do, however, want to change the alignment. I'm going to align it to the left, I think. No, I'm going to keep it centered. And I'm going to change this text to capitalize learn more. Now I'm just going to duplicate and drag and drop this under each item. There we go. We have all our learn mores. These would be different links for each one, and they'd ideally go to a page specific to each one. We're not going to build all those pages, but that's what you want to do. You want to have this go to this button, go to a stocks page, this one to a mutual funds page, this one to a bonds page, etc. If you want to change the icons, you just click on them, click on the star, click on the icon, and you pick from a huge list of icons. There are literally hundreds, maybe thousands, a lot of them. Or you can use a glyph, which looks like this. So you pick the icon you want, you add it in, and boom, you have icons. You can also add more columns if you want to. Let's go on here, click on plus, boom, another column. They're all equally spaced. If you don't want them equally spaced for some reason, you can click on this dividing border and drag and drop to whatever size you want. You can also move a column. You can see when we click on here, we have this move icon, so I can move this one over here if I want to. You can basically customize and move a column as you need. You can also add background images specific to a column and delete columns just like that. So now we have our services section completed. Pretty straightforward. Our portfolio, I will change this to services as well. And we're just going to update a little bit of stuff in here. Let's click on the up arrow. Our brand color is orange, but these ones clearly have a bluish overlay, look a little cold. I want to change it to an orange overlay. Click on this color square. Looks a little dark right now, I can't really tell what's a color, but it is a color in there. Click on overlay, or make sure you're on overlay, and let's change this to an orangey overlay. It doesn't have to be exactly our brand color overlay because it's not 100% opaque. You want to see the background through it. So what orange you choose doesn't really matter as long as it's orangey in this case. So that's our brand color. That's where I want to have it a little bit orange. So I kind of like how that looks. A lot warmer. You can easily add a cool effect to the background as well. Let's click on this arrow again, go to background. We can change our background location with this blue dot, if you recall. If you click on hover, we can change where the blue dot is when you hover. So I'm going to put it right to the top. So now when you hover over this image, it just moves a little bit. And I want to do that to all of them. Let's see if we can apply all those styles, all those two things, just by copying and pasting styles. The color works, but the hover doesn't. I didn't think the hover would work. Let's just paste these remaining styles over to these ones so they're nice and orange, orangey. On hover, put the dot at the top. There we go. Now they all have that cool effect. Just it's very subtle. It's not too in your face, and it's quite nice, I think. There's this blue divider here. Let's change that blue to our orange. There we go. Who we've worked with is next, and this is important to have. It's important to have a list of companies you've worked with if you have them. If you don't have them yet, try to get them. So you can add an element like this to your websites or your client websites. And this is a slideshow. Just the same image over and over. But if we click on these level adjustments here and then click on this hexagon, hexagon, you can choose to make it a slider. If I unchoose this, it's just unchoose it. If I unselect that, it's just like this, one image. If I make it a slider, we can add multiple. So this is slide number 1. When I click again, this is slide number 2. Now we replace these images on slide number 2, and then we have different ones. And this is on a per row basis. So it's the entire row that's sliding, not just a little image widget. We could also turn this whole row into a slider really easily. Just click on these level adjustments, make it a slider. It adds the arrows. Now you can have these lists of products on the first slide. They click on the next one. You can adjust this to have your next list of slides, next list of products. Here you can see the 2 dots for 2 slides. You have as many slides as you want. Click on the slider over here for your options. You can have dots like we see here. You can have none, which is what's happening with the logos here. It's set to none. You can also have arrows on the right or none or different styles. And you can have it autoplay, meaning when you see or when the visitor sees the slider, it automatically scrolls based on a certain amount of time. That time is what you set right here. By default, every 3 seconds, the slide would switch. And again, that is the whole row. The entire row is doing the sliding. So I'm going to turn that off. I don't want to make that a slider. I'm going to turn the slider off because we only have these businesses. There's no extra logos I have to put in here. So let's just turn this off. Let's not make that a slider because it looks silly just having the same logos over and over. And next we're going to work on the what clients say section or testimonial section. We're going to adjust this quite a bit, but first we're going to save. Let's click on update to make sure we saved our work, and then we'll carry on tweaking this web page. First thing we'll do is change the divider color from blue to our yellow. There we go. We didn't change this one up here, so I'll change that one too. Let's copy and paste the Xcode. Super simple. And I want to have 2 columns with 2 testimonials side by side instead of just one. I'm going to add a column by going to the plus icon, and I will drag and drop column right there. I'm just going to move these elements into the column, and now we have 2 columns. I'm going to right click on this column editing icon and click on duplicate. Now we have 2 side by side. I'm going to delete the 3rd one. Boom, now I have 2 columns. Super simple. I'm going to update these with fictitious testimonials that are a little more believable than this lorem ipsum. So this guy, he's 18 and he's investing with Banana Boat. I'm going to call him Mark Moe. And he's a student. And this guy over here, his name's going to be James T. He's very old, as you can tell from the testimonial. And he is a retiree. Just going to update this image by clicking on the little image icon, clicking that X, clicking on upload to add a new image. Then I'll just drag and drop the image in here. It's named John Smith in the image, but it's actually James T on the website. I use this guy's image for a bunch of different website builds. His name is always different. Click on select. It's going to take a few seconds for this image to appear here. And while it does that, I'm going to make this a slideshow. Click on these sliders, click on this hexagon, octagon, click on make slider. Now James T is in there, as we can see, and now it's a slider. But our title, what clients say, is part of the slider, and I don't want that. I'm going to turn off the slider first. Then I'm going to create a new section. Click on this plus, choosing blank section, and I'm going to move these columns into this blank section. I'm going to reduce the padding on this section here. We're going to the gear, more settings, padding bottom right here. Take that down to 0. And for this section, that's 75 on the top. We'll reduce that down to 15 should do. Now I'm going to make this second section with just the testimonials. This is going to be the slideshow. And then our what clients say up here is going to stay put, just how we like it. I'm not going to add more testimonials. You can probably figure out how to do that after you've done the first 2, but this is how we do sliders and keep our title as it is. The next section, meet the team. I'm going to keep these images, but I want to edit them a little bit. I want to make them a little more interesting. I don't like the square look. I like round better. So we'll edit one image first, and we'll just copy the styles to the next images. Click on it, click on the gear, and choose a rounded corner. And the size, I want to shrink the size a little bit. They're quite large. There we go, that's pretty good. I want to have a hover effect. I want it so when you hover, a slight shadow appears. So let's click on the image, click on this border icon, click on hover, and when we hover, we want to have a slight shadow. Let's just add some numbers here, 222, and see what happens. I have a nice little shadow appearing. It's a little dark, so I'm going to adjust that a bit. Go back to the hover tab. As you hover over these numbers, it gives you an indication right here what that number does. So the 2 looks like it makes the shadow a little less dark. Let's change this 2 to a 5. And hopefully it goes out a little farther, but it's also not quite as dark, not quite as sharp of an edge. And that one does the sides, this one does top and bottom, left and right. Anyway, I like how that shadow works. You can speed up or slow down the shadow as well by clicking on the gear, clicking on more settings, and under advanced, we have a hover transition. We can change this to 99 milliseconds, and now the transition goes a lot slower. For me, it's a little too slow, so I'm going to keep it at 50. It's a good number. It's quite nice. I'm going to center all these options down here. There we go. Then I will just copy and paste the styles and center these guys. There we go. And when we hover over the social icons, they go blue. I want to make those go yellow. So click on them, click on this icon, click on the hover. The icon, see, it's the background that changes. Icon background is blue. Let's paste in our yellow. That's not it. Let's copy our yellow from here. Let's try that again. Hover, background, blue, and now it's yellow. We have to do that for every single one. Or better yet, copy, paste styles. All the styles should be the same because we've only changed the background color. And we just paste the styles over all of these. Also keyboard shortcuts, as you can see, Command-Shift-V. Well, that is something else on my computer as well, so I'm not going to do that. It won't do as expected, or won't do what is expected in this case. Center these. Thought I did that already. And there we go. We have this section completed. Nice shadows appearing. The social icons are our colors for the website. And this divider needs to be our color as well. And Meet the Team section is completed. The last thing we have at the bottom is a call to action. After seeing that homepage and all the great stuff we do and who we are, work with us. That's essentially what this section is for. So the first thing I'll do is change the background color to our yellow. Might as well have that everywhere. Background color, it's an overlay color, make that our yellow. Looking good. Now let's paste in some different text. For the headline, your window of opportunity is closing. For the text in here, when's the best time to plant an oak tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now, so give us a call. Essentially what that is about. So the idea is they see this after seeing our homepage and they give us a call because we want them to call us. Or you could have a contact form here or a link to the contact page. You could have something else here if you like, but this is how we're going to set ours up. And when you hover over here, the numbers go blue. Maybe we'll keep that. Nice to have a little change. But if you want to change the numbers on the hover, just click on it, go to the color icon or the box icon, go to hover, change the text from blue to whatever color it is that you want. And you have a different color there. And now I think our homepage has been customized to how I want it. Let's click on Update and preview this bad boy. See how it looks. I think it looks pretty solid. Nice header image, customized services section, some more testimonials, the team, the call to action, the footer. I think it is really solid. And now we're going to work on the About page. And we're going to change the header image because it's not quite what I want to have. And it also doesn't work with our menu up here. I want to have lighter colors at the top. And we'll go through the About page and we'll customize it. We're not going to be changing the layout too much, but we'll be covering all the different elements that we've seen. We've seen text elements and dividers and all that, so that's not anything new. But these accordions are new. So we'll spend a little more time on those so you can learn those and apply those to your project. And the counters down here, if I refresh, these will count up. Also something we haven't seen yet. So we'll check out how those work as well. And you'll notice at the very bottom, hey, wait a second, that's what we just did on the home page. That wasn't on the About page. Let's go to Services and go to the bottom. Hey, wait, that's there too. How does that work? Because we only did it on the home page. We didn't do it on these pages. Let me show you. Let's go to About. Since we're going to edit this page anyway, might as well edit it right now and go down to that bottom section and click on or hover over it, and we see this little planet icon. That means this element is global. So if we click on here, click on the hexagon, we see global is checked off. That means we can add this element to various places on your site, and you just have to edit one instance of it, and it edits all of them, which makes creating sites a lot easier. It's kind of like having these font styles that you can just apply wherever you want. Having these global elements, you can apply them wherever you want. Change them once, and they're changed everywhere. And if you want to add a global element to a page, the way you do that is you click on Add New Block, go to Global Blocks, and then choose the global block. This is the one, the call to action right here. Also the testimonials, or sorry, the brands that we've worked with. That is also a global block, which is on multiple pages, which would be updated everywhere when we update it in one spot. So that's how we use global blocks. The only way to make a block global is, again, go to the hexagon, just check this box. That's it. Super simple. This one's not global. Go in here, check this box. Now it's global. Now we can add it to other places really easily. So let's go to the very top. Let's replace this image and this text at the top. So I looked around some stock photo websites and I couldn't find an image I liked better on the background. And I don't want to spend too much time looking for images. So we're going to use this one. We're just going to tweak it. To do that, go into the settings, go to this border icon, and overlay is what we're going to use to tweak it. So currently there's a blue overlay. As we can see, it's kind of a bluish color. And I want to change this to a gradient. And this gradient, I'm going to have it so it's orange at the bottom, white at the top, and then we'll be able to see our menu better. So to make it top to bottom, we have to change this to 180. Not 190, 180. You can change whatever angle you want, but 180 is going to be perfectly top to bottom. And I want to change the first color to be our orange color, which I have to copy from somewhere. Let's get it from right here. Should have this memorized. F2A100. Maybe I'll remember. So the top one, we actually want that to be white. Now that I see where it's going, let's make that white. Let's make the bottom one that orange. Now we have our orange to white, but it's a little aggressive. It's too dark orange down here. So I'm going to just move this down, the opacity down just a little bit. Just want a hint of orange. And at the top, I want a little more white. The higher you go, the more opaque it is. As you can see, it goes to straight white. All the image is gone. And you can soften it. I don't want it straight white. I want it pretty close, but like that. Now we have no problem seeing our menu at the top. Our text right here, have to change that color. Let's make it black. And there we go. So instead of finding a new image, we're able to tweak this one and make it how we want it just by adjusting the overlay. Let's change this. Welcome to Banana Boat. We are your dedicated investing team. Boom, done. Header complete. I notice there's more blue dividers here. There's another way we can change the colors. We've been doing it manually by clicking on it, going to the color, changing the color. Inside the Brizy font typography settings, we have a color style. And these colors represent different things on the page. And unfortunately, I don't have them memorized, but we can see on the page, this is black. This is like the text. This is the font color. This lighter blue, that's these divider colors. So if I change this one to our yellow, it should change. That's not it. F2A100. Let's make this a 2. There. So changing that to our orange changes all these dividers. That one, this one. This makes it a lot easier. Another way Brizy makes your life easier is this color palette that you can change throughout. Elementor has a color palette as well. I don't use it very often. I like the Brizy one. It works a lot better. But now we can go ahead and start editing the rest of it. We're not going to touch these. You've seen how to edit text, so I'm not going to waste your time editing these ones. You just click on them and start typing. What we're really going to focus on is the new things we haven't seen yet. Here, how do we get this number in the background? I can delete it, I can edit it, I can type on it. What happened here is they have two different text elements layered on top of each other. So if we click on the gear icon and then more settings, we should be seeing some negative margin somewhere. So it has a margin of 10 pixels on the top. Let's look at this one. Define, more settings, has a negative margin of 62. So normally elements don't have negative margins. But if you do have negative margins, you can move them on top of each other or behind each other or beside each other, depending on what the situation is. So if we change this back to 0, which is what it normally is, define appears down here. But to make this cool effect, to make them overlay, it's minus 62. And this larger text in the back is just a different font, different color, different size, and it's made to kind of disappear into the back. And it looks good. It's a great effect. So you do that with negative margins. Down here is where we want to check out the accordion. This is an image. We've seen images before. That's not too special. Let's change this text to black. And this accordion widget is something new, something we haven't seen yet. You can easily add one to any page by going to the plus icon, choosing accordion, and you just drag and drop it onto the page, and then you edit things as needed. So the default one just has 2 spots like that. To add more, just click on any one of these accordions, click on duplicate, and we have another accordion and another one. Just keep adding them as you need. Let's delete this one and work with the one we have. So accordion is the name of an element that just opens different sections as you click on them. And that's all it is. And so any one of these, you just click in here, change the text, in here, change the text. I'm not going to change all these text options because the point of this tutorial is not watching me create cool text for websites. It's how to use these elements so you can use them in your project. You can delete individual spots, like say you don't want the best ROI techniques. Just click on this little garbage can, and that single accordion slot is gone. As you saw a moment ago, just right click on any of these, click on duplicate, or click on it, click on duplicate, and you have a new one to work with. So that's the accordions. Down below, we have our counters. This is a counter element. You can find that here. And again, this is the free version of Brizy. All this stuff is free. So let's click on the counter. Counter options are all through here. This one says to start at 40 and ends at 87. So when you or when a visitor scrolls down to this part of the page, it will start counting at 40. It will count up to 87, and it will take 2 seconds to do so. Adjust these settings to have the counter work how you want it to work. This one over here will be different, 60 to 102. They're all set to 2 seconds, so they all end in the same amount of time. This one is 90 to 156, and this one is 0 to 28. So change those however you think is necessary for whatever project you're working on. And this is the text element, and this is just an icon element. Click on the little star, change your icon to whatever icon you want to have in there, and boom, you have this section completed. Pretty simple. Maybe a headline is in order. You could add something like some important stats about our company, for example. And then we have our call to action at the bottom. So the About page, like I said, we're not going to customize a whole lot, but we took a look at the unique widgets we have on here. This isn't a unique widget with the negative margin, but it's a technique. So I guess the unique widgets and techniques to make it look how it does. Negative margin here, accordion here, countdowns over here, and we have a great looking About page. Click on Update to make sure we save our changes, and let's get back out of here and let's work on the next page. Let's head out to the front end again. The next one we're working on is the services page. So let's go to the services. And here we see the header that we're going to update. Here we see our services section, which looks very familiar because we did this on the home page. Quite often when you start building sites, you will create these sections like this, a nice overview of our services that you can then use on different pages. You can do that by making them global, which is the best bet, then you have to only edit in one spot, or you can copy and paste them. So let's go back here, and the services page also has a little call to action here, who we worked with, another call to action. Pretty simple page. Let's click on Edit with Brizy. We want to update the header to make it look like this one. We can't make it global because the globalization makes the entire section global. So if I made this one global and popped it into services, we'd have the About Us text, Welcome to Banana Boat, and this line here. And then if we edit those on services, it would edit them here. So we wouldn't want to do that. We want to have just the background look copied over, and then we change this text as we need to. And unfortunately, I'm having trouble copying and pasting the background design. So I'm just going to recreate it really quick. Same way we did over here. I'm just going to copy, let's kind of ballpark what we have. We can get pretty close pretty quickly. I'll just fast forward so you can see how it's done again. And there we go. That's it. Super quick. Make this text black. This black. This black. Just as before, I'm not going to spend too much time editing things we've already done before, like the text. We've seen all that. But what I do want to do is show you how we can get this section in here really quickly. And the way I'm going to do it is by making the one on the home page global. So if I come back over here, click on these sliders, click on the hexagon, click on Make It Global, boom, done. Global almost immediately. We have to refresh this page. I'll just click on Update. Might work after just doing an update. Let's take a look. Global blocks. No, we have to refresh. It saves the global blocks instantly. That doesn't mean they're loaded instantly into pages that are already open. You need to reload those pages. Click on the plus. Click on global blocks. We have our new block loading right here. I already know it's the one we want. I'm just going to click on it and add it in. And here it is. What can we do for you, mutual funds, da 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 da, and here's the one that we replaced. They look similar, but the words are all different. So I'm going to just delete this section, and now we have our services summary here. And again, with the global options, if we change anything here, it's going to change it on the home page. If we change it on the home page, it'll change it here. It'll change it anywhere this global section is added, which makes your life a whole lot easier. That's why we use global. So let's change this. Some of the text I will change. Let's invest together. Tell us about your financial plan. I like this section, super simple. Who we've worked with, the testimonials, or sorry, the brands again. And I think I might want to add the testimonials here as well, because that's a great thing to have on a page where we're trying to sell something. So let's go back to the home page. Let's go to our testimonials. What clients say. I'm going to make this one global and this one global. So we have both. Those are two different sections, as you recall. Go back to services, save our work, and then refresh. And now we can add those sections. Let's add them above our brands this time. And this is the what clients say one. This takes a minute to generate the thumbnail. The global blockers are already there, just the thumbnail is being made. And there we go, what clients say. It's important to have testimonials. Nice and clean. We have our call to action down here, which again is a global one. Click on update. And now we have tweaked and completed the services page and looked at some new elements and new ways to incorporate elements onto a page. Now let's exit out of here. And let's go to the main site again. Close this About tab. Sure, let's leave that. Now the last one we want to do is the contact page. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. We have our map here, which is nice, but I want to put this map in the background of the header because that would be super cool. Let's do that. Let's go into edit page with Brizy. We're on the contact page. Let's just get the address from here. The address is Wall Street. This is a map widget, which we could add to any page using this icon right here. And we can also add it to backgrounds. Click on the settings button, go to this icon, and the type we want to change to this kind of a pin looking thing, which is a map. Defaults to the Wall Street address, and that's pretty handy. Now I want to add an overlay to make it faded into the back, because we don't want to have this standing out because it gets confusing with all the words, visually confusing. And so I want to have an overlay, and I want to fade it right out. But I want to have a lighter overlay. So let's make it white. Let's do our gradients again, like we did last time. Orange and white, 180. That orange less troublesome at the bottom. The white a little more. Let's take that white all the way. Just because I don't want this box in the top left to be very prominent. But now we have a cool map in the background of our contact page in the header, which is a pretty neat feature. I've not seen that on any other page builders, the ability to add a map as a background. There, contact us, boom, done. The biggest thing on this page is, again, the map in the background, the map down here, where we just drag and drop the map widget like so. And it defaults to this address. Click on here, change the address. To San Francisco, for example, and it goes to San Francisco. Change the zoom level, and you can put it any zoom level you want, or any zoom level Google Maps allows, I should say. And you can add street addresses. It doesn't have to be locations, general locations like this. It could be a street address to pinpoint your location. The last thing on this page is the contact form. We have a form here. This form is created by WP Forms, which is a plugin that was auto-installed when we installed this starter site template. Here's a shortcode for WP Forms. I want to add a Brizy form because Brizy has form functionality. We don't really need to have a different plugin for this. Click on the plus icon, drag and drop the form over to here. And here we have a simple form already laid out. This first one, let's change this type to text. We'll make it required, and we'll change the words in here to name. This one, we're going to change type from select to email. It's required, and let's keep the same words as they have. So your email and your name. And this one is a paragraph or a text area. And we'll call this message. And this button, we'll call this send. Now if we want to add more forms, or more fields, we can just click on any one of these, click on duplicate, and we could have your first name and your last name. Super simple. The different form field options we have, as you saw, the field types: text, email, number, paragraph, select. This isn't as thorough as a real form builder like WP Forms, but this might be all you need. Most contact forms are pretty simple, and everything you need is built right into Brizy. So you don't need to have a separate form builder unless you're making a pretty complex form. So I'm going to delete this one. It's just not needed. And this form looks great. There's no reason to not use this form. And that is the end of our contact page. That's all we really have going on here. One thing you could also add in here is more social proof. You could add testimonials in this column here. You could add the company logos again down below, just to reaffirm that you are a legitimate business that people have great experiences with. So that's good to have on a contact page as well. Click on update. We're not going to do that in this case. You already know how to copy and paste those and put them into pages. And now we have the website content complete. So we've done all of our pages, we've done the header, we've done the footer. Let's just do a quick recap before we go on. Let's just exit after we save. Make sure you save your work. Let's exit out of the contact page. I can actually close this tab. And let's exit out of the home page after we save it. Back to WordPress, front end. And our website is looking pretty dapper. We've customized all the pages. We've got the footer, we've got the content, we have our header with the links and our logo, done all the pages. What we have not done yet is mobile. Mobile is super important. So let's do that. Let's go to edit page with Brizy. So we're back in the editor. And this little icon here, this little screen, computer screen, click on that and we have our mobile options. Tablet and mobile, and of course desktop to get back to that. If we click on tablet, we see things aren't quite right. They look pretty good, but this tagline here is behind the menu. That's not ideal. Want to add more space in there, maybe reduce space right here. Anything we change here in the tablet view doesn't affect the desktop or the mobile view. So if we click on these gears, usually it's just minor adjustments you have to do when you're doing work on mobile. Let's add more padding to the top. And we can see our padding, I'm going to prove it to you, it only applies to the tablet. Our padding here is 73 on the top. We change this back to desktop and we look at the padding number. The padding here is 250. So our changes, our spacing changes, if we change the text, that would apply to all the different versions as well. But changing padding and spacing and alignment, that is a per device level change. So I'm going to, what is this? The divider, put that down to, could do 1 pixel. Super slim, put those a little closer. And we just scroll down and we make sure things look how we want them to. This area is a little harder because we have words that are wrapping and putting this onto an extra sentence or an extra line. So the best way to address that is to change the number of words in your blurb if you want these all aligned. If you don't care if they're all aligned, don't worry about it. You can also change the width, and hopefully that won't do what it just did, which is bump the next guy down to the bottom, which it probably will, since the column widths are usually divided by the number of columns and they fit exactly in the space required or the space available. So you can adjust the text of those if you want to. If we go to the desktop, we can see that they work out just right. But these ones that are almost completely 3 lines, like mutual funds, issue stock, those ones are wrapping. In fact, issue stock isn't, it's the other 2 that are wrapping. So anyway, change the amount of words and you can have those line up on all devices. I'm not going to micromanage it that much. Services, we have our features here that we had before. Our clients still has a slider, still works. A lot of spacing between these two. Let's see if we can reduce the space. It's only 15 pixels of padding. There it is. Let's just reduce that a little bit. There we go. We can also add negative margin if you want to bump it up even higher, but I'm not going to do that in this case. There we have our team and our call to action at the bottom. So we had a few minor adjustments, but nothing too major. Click on Update to save our changes. I'm going to click on Menu once this is saved to see how that looks. Click on Menu. Menu pops down. Looks fantastic. Let's go to Mobile. This is a phone size. And again, spacing issues. So let's click on the slider options here and let's slide this down. There we go. You notice these are defaulted to centered as well because it makes more sense. When we're on tablet, it still makes sense that it's a bigger screen. You can still make sense of it by having things aligned to the right or the left. But on a phone, usually things are center aligned. There's just not enough space for anything else. So we have our center aligned content there. All the columns, they're all put under each other to make one column because you're on a phone. There's less space. That's why these are all in one column. Services are much bigger. You can see more of the image, which is nice. Who we've worked with, all these logos are one column. Our clients, the slider still works, but they're bumped into one column. Our team, you can center these. It centers everything except for those for some reason. And our call to action looks great. So we have adjusted our mobile phone. And then we go through every page and we do these checks. So let's go to the About page. Because there might be something, it might be just as easy as we had here, or there might be something strange that I need to point out and show you. So our header is just fine. Our menu works. Our mission, our history. So this is kind of strange. Numbers are way up there. I guess it's not that big of a deal, but it does maybe look a little weird. Because on desktop, there's nice big numbers in the background. And on tablet, there's tiny little numbers that just don't look right. Let's see if we can bump up the size of these and get our negative margin back. This was negative 62. And this font size, I don't know what the font size was, but it was quite a bit larger than this. Let's change this to negative 55. It doesn't have to be the exact same as desktop, but I feel like that's a nice look. Let's go back to desktop, make sure it hasn't changed anything. Nope, that's still fine how it is. And I'm just going to apply what I did to all these sections, or to all these elements. So a negative 55 margin for all of these pieces of text. Make sure we can click on that. Yep, we can. Because we want to be able to edit. Sometimes when you do negative margins, the elements are on top of each other and it becomes very difficult to click on them. I know it sounds weird, but the one that's behind can be harder to click on because the one that's in front is overlapping. So you got to make sure that you're able to click on everything. All the negative margins are done. Now it's going to fast forward while I adjust the size of all these. There we go. Looking much more like the desktop, which I think is a really nice look. Our accordion, looking pretty good. This image is a lot smaller because the image depends on the size available, the size of the area. Another option we have is making this image a background image. So we can click on this column option, and for background, we just choose that image. Click on select, and we can just delete this image here. And it's, hang on, we can click on here and change the position of the image. We have this guy more in it. And now we have this image taking up more of the space instead of being shrunk down to fit that smaller space. Now if we go back to desktop, that probably changed some things. Yeah, our image is gone now. So I want to add that image as a background for the desktop as well. Background, choose this image, select. There we go. Go back to tablet. I find that's a much better look for that area. And our accordion works as expected. So our columns or our rows here, this should be just one row, but it's 2 rows. And I think it's because this one is super wide. So let's reduce the size of this one, because it should be down to 25 or less, because there's 4. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So reduce that to 25, and this plus goes to 2 lines. We can make that a bit bigger, or change the font size in here. Is this not text? This is text. Let's change the font size so it's on 1 line. Hard to see, but eventually we reduce the size and it's going to be on 1 line. Just you wait. Just you wait. Make that a bit bigger. There. So I had to reduce the size of that, but I think that's okay. I don't think that's a big deal. And we have this other issue. Project completed goes to 2 lines. Have to adjust things and change the text sometimes to make things fit how you want them to fit and align how you want them on various devices. I'm not going to be too nitpicky with that. You can do that with trial and error, changing text, changing sizes of things. And the call to action down here is just how we like it. So let's go to desktop and see if those adjustments remained affected this, and it didn't. So that font size change is only on tablet. Let's go to mobile phone. Go to the very top. That's looking good. This is all looking good. Here we can adjust these sizes again like we did just a moment ago. Make this text bigger, add negative margin to this element to make it look like it does on the desktop. Not going to go through that again. You saw how to do that. These are now misaligned. Just got to shrink the size of these to make them fit with each other. Let's add some padding to the right. Or margin to the right works too. There we go. Let's move this over a bit so it's more in the center. We can change this font size back to whatever it was. Probably the same as this one, 56. There we go. That looks more like it should. And this page is looking good. Click on Update to make sure those changes are saved. Now let's go to the services page and see if we have any issues there that are different than the ones we've encountered. So services on desktop looks fantastic. Let's go to tablet and see how it looks. Header area looks fine. This section looks fine. Again, adjust the text if you want to have those aligned properly. What clients say, that all looks good. For tablet, services is done. Mobile, go back to the very top. That looks fine. These services look fine. It all looks good. That one was really easy. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you don't make any changes at all. Even when I don't make changes, I still click update just in case I forgot that I made a change, which happens sometimes. Let's go back and check out the contact page. All pages, edit with Brizy, contact page. Looks good on desktop. How does it look on tablet? Still the map in the background, our form. Everything looks good to me. Let's go to mobile. Everything goes to one column. And it all looks pretty darn good to me. I think the contact page also does not need any changes. So let's exit out of here and let's see what we've done. Our website is now completed. We've built this website for Banana Boat Capital and we've made sure it's mobile optimized. We've done everything. We've checked all the boxes that clients like to see these days, and we have a good looking website. It looks pretty darn awesome. I went through each page to see how it looks just a moment ago, so I'm not going to go through each one, but there we have a website. And this was using only free tools. The Astra theme with the Brizy page builder, both the free versions. The only thing it would have paid for so far is a domain name and your hosting account, and possibly some stock images if you're paying for those. There's a lot of free stock image sites as well. I've linked to a tutorial down below that has 20, I think it's 20 or more free stock image sites that you can check out. So there's all kinds of stock images for free out there, or you can get the paid ones. It's up to you. If you want to upgrade to the pro version of Astra or the Brizy page builder, there's a link in the description down below to do that. It is an affiliate link. When you buy through that link, it does not cost you any more, but Astra and Brizy do send me a small commission for referring you to them. So it's the same price for you, it's just that they give me a little cut. And that helps me keep making these videos and helps me keep helping the community with more great content. So if you do buy through one of those links, thank you very much. It helps a lot, and thank you. If you followed along and you built the website with me, congratulations. You got your first website online, and that is awesome. Now the next thing you need to do is subscribe to this channel, because you have a WordPress site now, and this channel, my channel, is all about helping you get better at WordPress. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And next up is watching this video up here that shows you how to speed up your website. Once websites are built, they're not always super fast, but this video will show you how you can make it fast. And this video down here shows the top 10 most common security mistakes that I see over and over again in WordPress sites. So check out both of those videos. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab, and until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.